7:02 p.m. We're in the City Council chambers. It is Tuesday, February 17th, and the first item on the agenda is a roll call. City Manager Murphy, would you please call the roll?
LaRussa.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Schneeman.
Here.
Bulk.
Here.
Parkins.
Here.
Thank you. Full council. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. For those that are able, please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is public comment. This is the first portion of the meeting where members of the public who wish to address the City Council may do so. We ask that you please state your name and address for the record. Please keep your comments to 3 to 5 minutes if at all possible. And please remember, public comment is not a dialogue. It's an opportunity for the public to address the City Council. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the council at this time? Mr. Sweeney, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, members of council, city staff. My name's Mike Sweeney, and I'm one of your emergency preparedness commissioners. My office is at 26105 Orchard Lake Road. We've had a very interesting weather pattern this last month. The last time we spoke, we talked about preparing your home to have at least 72 hours worth of food, water, health, maintenance, medicine, things for your pets. And one morning we woke up and found out it was minus 13 and we had 6 inches of snow. The road commission was out doing the things that they do best. DTE's maintenance has paid off. We did not lose our power. And I started calling my neighbors just to check on them. A lot of my neighbors are senior citizens, and I only talked to 4 of them. It took 2 hours. No, they had no problems in their house. They didn't need help with their hot water heaters or their furnaces. But boy, they just sure enjoyed talking to a neighbor. I got a couple of invitations come down to have tea with them. I remind them that it was 6 inches of snow out there and it was minus 13, and that no, I was not going to go down and visit them. They all expressed how surprised they were that this weather had turned so quickly. And I asked them, well, do you have the Oak Alert on your phone? And we started a whole nother conversation, by the way, telling them that there's a QR code on the little piece of paper. They can click it on their phone. It'll hook them right in. My neighbors are all in their 70s, 80s. Some of them are pushing 90. I have learned over the years, I will never guess how old a young lady is. The bottom line is this QR code was not going to help her. So we walked through the process of getting her phone hooked up to Oak Alert. So going forward, when there's a weather emergency, they would know about it. It would be on their phone. I showed them how to find it on their TV sets. They have an interesting variety of different services out there now. Every home is like a different walk through the wonderland of electronic information. But I got them hooked up on that, and then I asked them, where is your file of life? Where is your emergency information? What's in my phone? Okay, does your family have the password to your phone? Well, no, why would they want the password to my phone? Because if one of our professional safety folks comes in to help you, they're going to know your contact information. They're going to know the name of your physician. They're going to know which hospital you typically use. If you use dialysis, which of the 5 different clinics is yours to go to? If it's locked in your phone, they're not going to be able to help you. They'll do a great job. They'll put you in an ambulance. They'll take you to one of the local ERs, and you'll go through that process. Or if this was on your refrigerator, the old ones used to be a little file you put in your freezer, but we don't do that anymore. But if this were on your refrigerator, okay, his daughter's name is Erica, and its phone number is so-and-so. Yeah, there's Mr. Sweeney here. And they're immediately connected into all the people that you have set up as your structure of support. You've built all these people to help your family, friends, physicians, pharmacists. Make it easy for other people to help you with the system you set up to help yourself. Again, my name is Mike Sweeney. I'm just one of your commissioners, but it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure having you, and we appreciate all the information you help out with the public and making everybody aware of what they can do to keep themselves safer and more prepared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public who wish to make comment at this time? There will be a second public comment later in the agenda for those that might want to wait. Seeing no further public comment, we'll close the first one. That brings us to item 4 on the agenda, approval of the items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Balk, supported by Mr. Schneeman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. That brings us to item 5, approval of the items on the regular agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved. Slower.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Balk, supported by Mr. Schneeman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to item 6, presentations and public hearings. The first item is 6A, Public Safety Officer Aaron Moylan, oath of office. Chief O'Hannison, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor LaRussa, members of City Council, and City Manager, Mr. Murphy. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to introduce our newest Public Safety Officer and swear her in to the department. Aaron Moylan, will you please join me up here? This seems like an annual occurrence for us. However, this isn't much more of a momentous occasion for an officer's career than when they get to come up and have a loved one pin their badge upon their uniform. It's a time of celebration and an opportunity to make a promise. PSO Moylan will take an oath that most people don't truly understand. Of course, it's an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution, but it's more than that. It's a promise to always do the right thing. It's a pledge to take care of people in their time of need and to hold those accountable who break the law. PSO Moylan is making a vow to place herself in danger to protect those we all serve, and I commend her for answering this call to become a public safety officer because it's not for everyone. I will make a promise too. I promise to do everything I can to keep her safe. I will train her and provide her with the equipment she needs, and I will support her by providing access to resources that will keep her both physically and mentally fit. And I promise to continue to advocate for her and all the officers. Farmington is special not because it's my department, because it's our department. And it's our job to continue to make Farmington a better place to live and work. Over the last year or so, I think Erin has learned to find a home here too and become part of the Farmington family. And we're lucky to have you. I would like to invite Erin's sister, Melissa, to come up and pin the badge on her uniform. Erin grew up in Farmington Hills, and in 2019, she graduated from Farmington High School. She played field hockey and lacrosse all 4 years at the high school and was coached by a retired police officer who encouraged her to do a ride-along, which, according to her, led her down the criminal justice road. After she obtained her degree from Schoolcraft College, she attended the Wayne County Regional Police Academy. She started with Farmington Public Safety Department as a PSA, and she says she has loved her time here at Farmington ever since. Her sister, along with her niece Emma and her nephew Mason and her mom and dad, are all here to support her. Thank you for attending. It's tricky. Unfortunately, Clerk Bachman is not able to administer the public safety oath of office today, so I will.
Nice.
Do you solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the provisions of the Charter and all ordinances of the City of Farmington, and to faithfully discharge your duties as a public safety officer to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Please sign right here. PSO Moylan, you're joining law enforcement during a time when we need the best of the best to join our department. After just a short time with us, I'm confident that you will police with compassion, be just in your actions, and reflect the ideals of this city council and its public safety department. I challenge you to hold yourself and all officers accountable, to never tarnish your badge or the trust that comes along with it. You are joining one of the strongest families in the world, and we promise to teach you our ways, the Farmington way. May you have a long, successful, fulfilling, and most importantly, a safe career. Please join me in welcoming PSO Aaron Moylan to the Farmington Public Safety.
Yeah, for sure, unless PSO Moylan has anything she would like to say in her inaugural address as a public safety officer.
Get out of the way.
Can't do a lineup, everybody, can't do that. Nice.
Bob the greeter.
Thank you, Chief. Congratulations to Public Safety Officer Moylan. It was a pleasure to see her take the oath of office tonight. Thanks for making that part of tonight's agenda. The next item is 6B, Public Safety Policy on Immigrations, Customs, and Enforcement. Back to you, Chief Hohannessyn.
Thank you for inviting me this evening. Let me begin by saying this is not a political statement about actions of any other law enforcement entity or government entity, how they operate, the nature of their function. This is just an overview of how the Farmington Public Safety Department interacts with outside agencies, so bear with me as I explain all of this. The Public Safety Department relies on good working relationships with all outside agencies. Large incidents and investigations can span multiple jurisdictions. They can be very complex, and quite frankly, we don't have the resources to handle some of these calls on our own. The Zap Zone shooting many years ago, not many, but a few years ago, this was a targeted hit on an individual who had no other ties to the city of Farmington. He was involved in gang rivalry, and the shooting was tied directly to gun violence out of the city of Detroit. We were able to solve this case with the assistance of other outside agencies. An ATF agent was instrumental in this investigation, tying our suspect to the crimes and fast-tracking ballistic evidence through the ATF labs, helping us solve this crime and get a conviction. The Slocum shooting just a couple years ago involved a suspect who we were very familiar with the assistance of the Michigan State Police and the MIOC, which is the Michigan Information Operations Center. They were able to map cell phone GPSs and email coordinates and placed our suspect at the scene of the crime. They were also able to digitally enhance video recordings that produced evidence that led to the conviction of this suspect. And when it was time to take him into custody, the United States Marshal Services, their fugitive apprehension team, had the resources to surveil the suspect and coordinate an arrest that limited the possibility of injury to the suspect, the public, and our officers. Just last year, there was a murder-suicide in our city, and we believe the suspect was barricaded in his home and armed with a firearm. The Oakland County SWAT team assisted us with breaching the home and securing the suspect. These agencies did not take over our investigations. They simply provided us resources, equipment, and the staff that we don't have to assist our officers in bringing these suspects to justice. There are also simple requests that occur regularly. For example, our parades and festivals. We solicit help from the Farmington Hills Police Department for traffic control. We have bomb dogs from the Hills, Southfield PD, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, the Michigan State Police, and even Corewell Health sweep our parade route and our gathering spaces. Berkeley and Oak Park sent officers to our duck race when the largest duck in the world occupied our city park, something we could not do on our own. And in turn, we have assisted those departments. We have helped Novi with the State Fair, Berkeley DPS with the Woodward Dream Cruise, and we helped Rochester with their holiday parade. We helped Farmington Hills with their 50 Works, and we even sent an officer with the incident management team to the Grand Blanc shooting. My point is, we rely heavily on our mutual aid partners and professional partnerships because we do not have the resources on our own. This is a good segue between mutual aid and jurisdiction. Our officers are sworn in by our city, which gives them jurisdiction to investigate crimes, make traffic stop, write tickets, and make arrests within the city of Farmington. We do not have the ability to enforce law in another jurisdiction unless we are requested by that agency. For example, if the Hills are busy on a call and they have a report of a domestic violence, Farmington Hills can request us to respond to that call. We can act as Farmington Hills officers, investigate, and if necessary, make an arrest, even without a Farmington Hills officer on scene. And we've done this many times, and they have assisted us many times. But the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, the Michigan State Police, and all federal law enforcement agencies, including the DEA, Secret Service, and ICE, do not need our request or permission to act within the city of Farmington. They are already granted that authority by their governing bodies, which none of us dispute. Sometimes we are advised that another department is working within our city. Sometimes they tell us after the fact, and sometimes they never tell us at all because they are not required to. There have been discussions about how we respond if ICE or any other agency operates within our city. We cannot stop them. However, we can respond to assist our residents. If someone shows up at your home and you're not who they are, call us. Do not know who they are, call us. We can help verify who they are, and we can assist by documenting the interaction with our body cams. We will not intervene or prevent any county, state, or federal law enforcement officer from conducting legal activities, but we may be able to bring a familiar face and de-escalate the situation. Our recommendations are to cooperate with the officers, but to challenge any arrest or perceived violation of the Constitution in the court system. We encourage peaceful demonstration, and we never condone acts of violence toward law enforcement or any other member of the public. The Farmington Public Safety Department does not conduct mass deportation operations. We focus our efforts on providing a safe community through positive engagement, enhancing public safety, and working with our residents so they feel safe when they call the police. Thank you for the time for me allowed to soothe some concerns as we all work hand in hand to provide a safer and more informed community. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chief. Questions from the council? Ms. Taylor?
I have one question. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but I want to ask anyway because there's been some talk about it in other communities in our area. Does Farmington Public Safety alert ICE during traffic stops?
We do not.
All right, that was the answer I wanted to hear. I wrote out a bit of a statement that I just want to read out for the record. I want to start by saying how proud I am of Farmington's community policing model. Our officers are part of this community, and the trust that y'all have built with the residents, it isn't automatic just because someone wears a badge. It's earned. And that trust is one of our greatest public safety assets. So I appreciate the clarity that you've given around how Farmington Public Safety operates in regards to ICE. Public safety does not conduct immigration enforcement. We comply with federal law, but we also work to protect the safety and the civil rights of all people in our boundaries. That clarity matters because every person in this city deserves to feel safe calling the police, reporting a crime, asking for help, regardless of their immigration status or skin color or national origin. I do have one request. Could we get our ICE policy, or basically what you just said, published at farmgov.com so that residents can look it up and see it for themselves? Maybe we could publish the clip.
Absolutely. I'll work with Melissa and we'll get it sent out.
All right. Yeah, all of us at this table have been getting questions. I'm sure you have as well. So with something this serious, I think a statement that we put out could go a long ways in getting good information out to the public.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Other questions from the council? Chief, I have one. There's a another item in the news regarding formal agreements between ICE and local law enforcement agencies. These are referred to as 287G agreements. Has Farmington entered into a 287G agreement with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency?
No, sir, we have not.
Okay.
That would take an act of this council to approve, and quite frankly, we don't have the resources to facilitate any of those requests.
Has the agency approached the Farmington Public Safety Department to consider such an agreement?
In my tenure with the Farmington Public Safety Department, I have met ICE on 2 occasions. One about 15 years ago, and then a gentleman was dropping off a pamphlet at our front desk, so we don't have many interactions at all with.
Okay. So thank you for that. I just want to make sure that for the benefit of the public, that there is a mechanism in place for collaboration, and that mechanism is the only way that we would ever consider it. And it's not been approached, and we are not seeking it out. Is that correct? Yeah. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you bringing that to the council and giving us the opportunity to be informed so that we can, in turn, inform the public. Thank you for your time. Public comment is later in the agenda, and you'll have a chance to address the council. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item 7A, Planning Commission Annual Report. Assistant Manager Weber, the floor is yours.
The city's code of ordinances states that the planning commission shall make an annual written report to the city council concerning its operations. You have that written report in your packet, but a couple of highlights from that report are the following. The first is one of the really big plans that has been worked on by the planning commission is the master plan that started in January of 2025 and is wrapping up probably in March with a public hearing on the master plan. Another important thing that's in the report is the capital improvement plan, which we update every year. That has been completed. There's a draft available for public comment, and that will also be discussed in the March meeting coming up next month. Aside from that, there's been some discussion about a change to our parking ordinance to relax the requirements a little bit in our central business district to favor development. The Planning Commission reviewed the Art Park Promenade, which has started construction, but will really pick up coming soon. And we approved a variety of different developments in the city of Farmington, which are listed in the report. So, any questions?
Questions from the council? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Weber.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. That brings us to item 8 on the agenda. This is the second public comment. As a reminder, this is an opportunity for the public to address the city council. We ask that you please state your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 3 to 5 minutes if at all possible. Is there anyone at this time who wishes to make public comment to the city council? Yes, please. Yes, please. Yep. Name and address for the record, and then the floor is yours.
Judy Feenstra. I live at 34571 Arundel. First-time caller. And I just had some questions about the ICE response and public safety. I live right down the street from Longacre. Sorry, my voice. And I know it's a very multicultural school, and I'm worried one day I'm going to open my door and see black cars running down the street, like we've seen in Chicago and Minneapolis and all these other places. And my kids went to school there. I love the kids I don't even know. I'm concerned about whether you guys are following best practices from communities that have been through similar experiences that I'm imagining, and whether you've contacted other school districts. Are you working with the school district? How are we protecting our kids and our community? And I know you can't overrule federal law and federal agencies, but there are things that can be done, and I don't know what that is. But they're building offices in Southfield, and they're building a prison off the airport. We know it's coming, and I want our community to be nice like it is now. And I know people are afraid. I have people who contact me because they know that I'm outspoken on the issue that have very real concerns. They were born in the country, but their parents weren't, or they've adopted, or they've adopted within the country, or they're not the right color. And I'm having a lot of really heartfelt conversations with people that are afraid. And they can come to me because I'm not, I'm not the one they're going to pull over driving down the road. So I just wanted to know if Farmington has reached out to other communities to get best practices or understand the best way to respond, both to keep our citizens safe who are going to protest. There will be people who will. And to keep people who don't even want to be part of it. We've seen them get hurt too. They get caught on the street. They make a wrong turn and end up in a traffic situation they don't want to be in. And how do we keep them safe? How do we keep our schools safe? And are we turning over, I don't even know, do we have flock cameras? Are we turning that data over? Are we keeping that amongst ourselves? I don't know. Those are all my questions. It's a bunch, it's a little mixed up, but it all comes from a point of care. I care about the people in my community, and I want them to be safe.
Ms. Feaster, thank you for your comment. It was a lot, so I certainly don't want to put the Public Safety Director on the spot, but I do know that he will be diligent with following up with you if you're willing to share your contact information. I know he could probably address your concerns directly. But yeah, if you have a comment, you feel free, but I would say it was a lot. Okay. Thank you for your comment. Any other members of the public who wish to make comment at this time?
Kimberly Shea, 23606 Wesley. I live right around the corner from you. I know you're going to speak with her directly, but I think this needs to be spread to the wider community. We're all here because it's on the agenda. So him speaking to her directly does not alleviate the community's concerns about this. It might alleviate her concerns, but you don't want her spreading information. You want people to hear it directly from the city, right? Not through hearsay. So I would hope that you'd share it widely so that, us that are here can also gain that information, right? And spread it widely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comment. Any other members of the public who wish to make comment at this time? Seeing none, public comment is closed. That brings us to item 9 on the agenda, City Council comments. Any members of the City Council who wish to make comment at this time? Mrs. Balk.
I just want to add to what Ms. Taylor has said and our full support of our public safety. I also work at OCC, and so we had a meeting today where we also discussed ICE policies, and we met with our ESL professors who have very real concerns for their students, and every time they miss a class, they're concerned, they're praying that it's just a kid that's sick and not that something has happened to them. So it's a reality in our lives. Everywhere I go, I'm faced with it. So it's at my work. It's at every place I am. And so I think that in light of this, I just appreciate your words. And I know, because I know you, that they are heartfelt. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Sorry, I'm like a crier like Trudy. Sorry. You guys all know that. It's fine. But I think that kindness is the thing that in our society needs to be won over. And I think the people that are on this dais believe that. I think that we fight for it in every meeting. We make hard decisions. We have to make financial decisions. We have to make all kinds of decisions that I never knew about for the other 29 years that I lived here. But I think that each person that we deal with in every day of our lives, wherever we are, kindness has got to become the thing. And until that happens, our world is not going to change. So nobody can stay under a rock. Nobody cannot speak. And I'm not worried about protests, and I think protests are important. But I think even more than that is to be the person that talks to the person and sees the person and becomes the person. And then our world is going to be, it is the Farmington way. This is where we live. We all chose it, and we love our place of where we live. We picked here, and let's keep picking it, and let's keep picking diversity. Let's keep picking kindness. Sorry, I'm preaching now. I apologize.
Thank you, Mrs. Balk. Beautifully said. Other members of the council wish to make comment? I take the point about an FAQ or some other public outreach. I think that, Chief Ohannesson's statement is appropriate for release, and it's live on camera, so I'm sure clipping it would be appropriate. I'm sure there's a lot of ways we could get the information out there, but I think that that is something we should probably discuss, is how to do some public outreach with the information that we have. I did have one item from the Oakland County Treasurer's Office that I was specifically asked to read this evening, but I will not read it in its entirety. The Oakland County Treasurer's Office wanted to make everybody aware in the county that the foreclosure prevention efforts are in full swing. The tax foreclosure deadline for 2023 and/or any prior year taxes is March 31st, 2026. That means if taxes are not paid for those years by March 31st, or any interested party hasn't entered into a repayment schedule with the Treasurer's Office, the property will be foreclosed. The request from the Treasurer's Office is that if you're interested in scheduling a taxpayer assistance meeting or establishing a repayment plan, to please call the Treasurer's Office, or they may visit oakgov.com/treasurer for more information. This letter's on file with the city. If anybody's interested, they can get it from there or contact Oakland County Treasurer's Office. Other than that, I want to remind everybody that the State of the Cities has been moved from March 5th to March 6th at Farmington High School. I hope to see many members of the public. We have a lot of great things going on in Farmington, a lot of great accomplishments from last year, and a lot of plans for the future that I am excited, and I know the council's excited to share with the public. I hope that many of you will decide to join us that evening. The address is at 7 o'clock in the auditorium at Farmington High School. There's a business expo before. They'll have food trucks. There's a lot of fun planned, so hope to see everybody at State of the Cities. If there's nothing further this evening, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Balk, supported by Ms. Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. We're adjourned at 7:33 PM.